Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to make a particular kind of animated GIF in this video. Basically a frame-to-frame kind of animation, which is where you get an effect kind of like this. You've got some static images, and then you've got some things kind of growing and crawling around the screen with a lot of movement in them. So we're going to do a very basic, quick example of that so you can see the process, and then use that technique if you want. So let's go ahead and start up Photoshop. We're going to start a new file. We're going to make it something easy and a little fast. So I'm just going to go over to web. Really any size is fine. I'm going to go 1500 by 1000. Why not? And then create 72 dpi. There we are. So now I've got my file. I've created it with an artboard. Sometimes it does this. If you get an artboard, you want to right-click on it and click on Ungroup Artboards. It's a new feature put in by Adobe. Supposedly it's very exciting. I haven't had a chance to learn it yet, but if you'd like to go learn it, you're welcome to do so. Anyway, we're turning it off for now. So basically, how these frame-to-frame graphics are created is you kind of start off with something basic, and then it moves a little bit each time. So let's just go ahead and get started with that. So for layer 1, I just want it to be white and blank. So I'm going to the fill, making sure this is white, and then just hitting white so that it's a nice blank background to work from. And I'm even going to call this white BG for background. Then I'm going to start a new layer, and we're just going to go kind of similar to what they have here in the background. I'm going to start off with a line here. And I'm going to start a new layer, and we're just going to kind of have it move a little bit every time. If you've ever done any kind of flipbook, you might be familiar with this kind of process where you just make each drawing a little bit different, and then when you put them all together, it turns into something cool. So right now, I guess we just have this line kind of spiraling in. Basically, I'm just starting a new layer for every new frame of animation. These will only be shown all at once, or they'll only be shown one at a time. Right now, we're seeing everything at once on the screen, but we'll get a better feel for what that looks like once we get into the animation screen. So I'm just making some quick frames. There we are, and then in the end, the red has enveloped everything. There we go. So I have basically these 10 or 11 frames of very basic frame-to-frame animation. So I'm going to go ahead and save my file now. I'm going to save it as frame-to-frame. You want to save it as a PSD file, a Photoshop file with the layers enabled. And we're going to save, and then OK. So now we're going to go into the timeline function. So you go to Windows and Timeline. And then you create on video, click on create video timeline, and then over in the left-hand corner, there's 3 little boxes, and you want to click on those to get to the interface that we want. So this is basically going to be filled with frames. This is frame 1. We're going to fill this up with different frames, and then it's going to cycle through them one by one. It says 5 seconds down here, and that's how long it's going to stay on each frame. So we're going to bring that down to about 0.2 seconds, actually about 0.5 seconds, so it goes a little bit faster. And then we have, let's see, 11 frames here, I guess 12, including the white background. So I'm going to set the first frame to just be this first plain white background. And then we're going to click on this little new frame button down here, start a new frame, and then we're going to turn on the first layer. So basically the first frame here has nothing, second frame has our first drawing. You want to click on it again. To start a new frame, and then change it so the next layer is visible, and then a new frame, and then show the next layer, and so forth. So basically, we just want each frame to be showing the different layers down on the bottom here sequentially. So it's just going to show one layer at a time as we go through and set all of our different layers here. And then at the end, it will cycle through them quickly, and we'll have a little bit of motion. So there we go. We've got all of the frames showing all the different layers, and let's go ahead and hit play to see what it looks like. And now you can see we've got our little red line moving around, finding himself and exploding, or whatever he's doing. It's art. So there you have it. If you want it to go faster or slower, you can select the first one and then hold Shift and select the last one to select all of them. And then you can click on this little arrow here to make it go faster or slower to select the time that it stays on each frame. So this is a little bit faster, jump it along, and we can make it even faster still at 0.1 seconds. And there we go. So that's how you do this kind of basic frame-to-frame drawing. You can have these other elements on the page as well. You can have something still happening in the background. And that would just be a layer that was turned on continually through this whole frame. So for example, I'm going to select the first frame. I'm going to start a new layer just to have this example of something going here. And then we'll grab our trusty cutout dog here. And we're going to bring him in. And I'm just very quickly dropping him into our picture here. And again, this is this is frame 1, and this is a new layer, so he's kind of off to the side. But you see that because it's the first layer that's been selected, and because he's turned on, or basically the frames have all of the layers as they are on default. So if you wanted to turn this off at some point, you could. Otherwise, because it's on, it's going to remain on for all of the frames. So we can go ahead and hit play and see that, again, we have this static element here, and the animation is playing around it. Very similar to how we have the static element right here of these blue things, and then we've got this red line kind of creeping around and moving. So that's how you would do that. At the end, you want to save, and then you want to go to File and Export and Save to Web Legacy. You want to set this to GIF 128 dithered. You can uncheck transparency. You want it to loop forever. Then we'll go ahead and click Save, and this is going to be dog, excuse me, line. And then we'll save and close this, and we'll close this, and we'll go back to our desktop and check out our dog line.gif, and there it goes. Beautiful. Okay, so if you have any questions about any of this, please shoot me an email. I'm happy to help. I hope this was helpful, and stay tuned. There are some artist attributions coming up in a second. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.